Hi, everybody. Okay, we're back, and we're going to talk about how to become an indispensable resource for your customer. I'm going to dispense with the jokes because this is going to be a short session, but it's going to be life-changing for some of you because this is all about becoming a living, breathing value add. It's about going beyond the realm of being just a salesperson to becoming a consultant. Now, a bunch of you have just tuned me out because you think you know what I'm talking about and that I'm just playing with semantics with the words salesperson and consultant. But hear me out. Number one, you don't know what I'm talking about. And number two, if you do tune me out, you're going to miss one of the most powerful ways to charge higher prices and get your customers to thank you for it. Ignore me at your peril or your paychecks. Okay, here's what I mean. To become an indispensable resource for your customer and have them say yes to you at a higher price and keep you at a higher price, you need to know your customer's business better than they know their business. In today's competitive environment, you have to be one step ahead in bringing value to your customers, long before they ever have a chance to question your value. What I'm talking about is reading their trade journals, staying up with trends in their industry, keeping them notified. If you learn about a new operations or production trend or technique, share it. Maybe if you come across a feature article that's effectively a case study about how a company with a similar business or setup to your customers made a change to their factory layout or maybe their operational processes and squeezed out an extra 3% efficiency or profit. Maybe you learned how someone consolidated two shifts into one or realized a new economy of scale, or maybe how they saved money by implementing innovative management or production or delivery techniques. Maybe you could even discover some new sourcing or supplies your customer could use. Share it. Also, be on the lookout in your research for referrals you can send to them. Perhaps you've read about a new customer they could do business with, or new vendors they could buy from, or a new industry resource or organization they could tap into to improve their business. In other words, learn your customer's business. Learn your customer's industry. Stay informed and teach them. Now, I've heard some complain, but I have too many customers in too many industries. My customer base represents such a broad cross-section of verticals. How can I possibly know every industry well? The answer is you can't. But the answer also is start somewhere. Learn one. Then you can add another, and another, and another. Focus on your key accounts first, taking into consideration the 80-20 rule. Then expand from there. But don't simply use the overwhelm factor as an excuse to be intimidated and continue to do nothing, because that'll kill you. That'll kill your paycheck. And don't forget that a lot of information nowadays can be cross-purpose to any number of industries and business types. So take advantage of knowledge efficiencies. What you learn about one business can have direct application to another. In fact, you'll find more often than not it will. Now, a second answer to the overwhelm problem is this. If you're part of a sales team, divide and conquer. Each of you focus on one business and share knowledge amongst yourselves. Trade articles. Pass along what you each are learning. Maintain a knowledge bank of some kind, a sort of resource library of articles and information. Now, this can be done through something as simple as a file drawer full of folders, or as sophisticated as a corporate intranet, which is what some of my clients have done, where you can upload your latest and greatest findings and download those of your compatriots, or any combination of the two. The point is, team up, share, make it easier on each other. Okay, now, how should you deliver the information to your customers? Well, ask yourself, how many ways are there to deliver it? You can mail a hard copy to them, email them an article, or even your own synopsis distilled down into key bullet points they can act on. Leave your customers a voicemail. You can fax it to them, then follow it up with a phone call and have a conversation, or you can simply stop by and hand it to them. Now, I will say, if you do email it to them, follow it up with a hard copy of some kind, because emails are so easy to delete or overlook. Half the time, or in fact, maybe 3/4 of the time, they'll miss it. But if you can deliver it in multiple ways, all the better. Because then you can be pretty sure they'll get it. And, of course, you get credit for it. You'll appreciate it. You'll never get credit for anything that they didn't see. You can say, oh, I sent it over to you. Irrelevant if they didn't see it. The manner of the delivery is not as important as the fact of the delivery. So, deliver. Now, what about frequency? How often should you offer some sort of tidbit or nugget or earth-shattering piece of information? Well, as often as you have something important or worthwhile to contribute. I recommend at least once out of every 2 contacts, you should leave your customer with something that makes them say, wow, I'm really glad he called. Or how great to have her stop by and pass that along to me. Or even to tell you, Man, thank you. You really saved my bacon. Now, I've had that happen, and it's a great feeling, not just to be appreciated, but to have contributed something vital to their business. And not just kept a client happy, but to have cemented a friendship even stronger. Because remember, friendship, rapport, it's still the key to doing business. I don't care if it's the internet age, people are who buys from you, and you still sell to people. Now, talking about contributions, once in a while your contribution can even be as light as a joke, or maybe a funny but insightful story about someone you heard in their industry. One of my favorites is to call up and deliver a secondhand compliment from somebody they do business with who has spoken highly of them. Now, that's the lighter side, of course, but how deep should you get? On the other side, how much of a busybody should you turn into? How nosy should you be? Well, remember, you're being nosy on their behalf. So in my opinion, the more, the better. Because what's the chance your customer has the faintest clue as to what's going on to reduce workers' comp fraud? Maybe you sell janitorial supplies, but you read an article about workers' comp in a certain industry, but you know it applies equally well to your customers' manufacturing businesses. Share it. Maybe you learned a way to reduce warehouse accidents, the strategy for keeping their drivers on schedule, or maybe a new approach to distribution. Share it. Teach them. Become a value add. I call this contributional selling. Now, when you do this, you elevate yourself from the rank of salesperson to trusted advisor, meaning you're not just a vendor, you're a valued consultant. Talk about differentiation. Now we're talking real value add. We all talk about the term value add and differentiation. If you can be the differentiation, man, they're not giving you up no matter what. I know companies that do business with sales reps, and somebody will ask them, well, who's your supplier? And they'll say, oh, it's Joy, or it's Bob. They won't say the name of the company, because wherever Joy goes, she takes the business with her. Now, I'm not talking about stealing your employer's customer base. I'm talking about cementing the relationship. So, learn your customer's business. Learn what their competitors are doing. Find out how overseas competition is driving changes in their industry and how in order to keep up, they need to do this or that. Don't assume your customer has any clue as to what's going on in their business or their industry or even the economy in general. And even if they do have a clue, don't kid yourself that they can possibly keep up with everything happening out there. The world is just too big a place. The market's going too many different directions. And hey, technology is advancing too rapidly for your customer to have a handle on more than just a small percentage of what's really going on out there in the wide, wild, and wonderful world of business, including their own. I mean, let's face it, do you? Do you keep up with all the reading in your own industry? Do you read all your trades, cover to cover, every week? Every month? Anybody? Of course not. Do you know all the latest advances in your business? You know how your competition is using technology to secretly erode your market share? Fat chance. How about this? Do you understand how the latest financial trend is going to negatively impact your business 9 months from now in a backdoor way you never thought of? Hands? Nobody? No, of course, not even close. It's impossible to keep up. And therein lies the beauty. It's impossible for your customers to keep up too. So you be the one who keeps them up to date. You be the bearer of news, good and bad, pretty and ugly, every time you visit, every time you communicate, every time you deliver. Be the expert. Be the resident guru they don't have. In this way, you can earn your money in ways other than the specific product or service you're selling, because it's one thing to create that wonderful sense of demand when you initially sell the account, so that they want what you've got no matter what it's going to cost them. And we've taught some techniques on exactly how to do that. But it's quite another to keep them in the demand mindset. Now be crystal clear on this point. Not only do you need to create demand for yourself, you need to maintain demand for yourself, because there's always somebody knocking on your customer's door trying to replace you. There's always somebody with a lower price trying to get in, trying to lay down and be the doormat with price as their only distinction. You know competitors like that, and you know sometimes they take away your business. You want your customers to turn these price prostitutes out on their keister. You want your customers to say, hey, there's no way I'm going to trade in my number one business advisor, the one who made me an extra $250,000 last year with his insight, the one who saved my butt from my competitor with her early warnings, or the one who gave me a referral to a brand new prospect I sewed up before anybody else knew they were in the market. There's no way I'm going to give up this person who adds so much value to my business and brings this kind of total win relationship. There's no way I'm going to give this up for a mere price hound. that what you want to hear? Then do this. Because the strategy of being the ultimate resource, a walking cornucopia, like that word, cornucopia of vital information critical to the running of your business, hey, this strategy is an excellent one. Not only to differentiate yourself with, but to keep the loyalty of your customers. So learn, stay informed, know your customer's business better than they know their business. Make sure every time you walk in their door, you're welcomed with open arms because of the news, information, and business wisdom you bring. Make your customers rely on you. Make them miss you when occasionally they don't hear from you or when you're not able to stop by. So this is what I mean by consultative selling. This is customer service at its best. This is being a value add. Got it? All right. Yeah, now I'll take questions.